Hello guys, welcome to your Google Cloud Composer lab. In this lab, we are going to be learning about Google Cloud Composer. We're going to learn a little bit about Airflow, a little bit about DAGs, and we are going to write our own Python Airflow script. We're going to write our DAGs, and we are going to run that task in Google Cloud Composer. So first of all, what is Google Cloud Composer and what is it used for? Cloud Composer is a fully managed workflow orchestration service. You have your workflow, you have your tasks that you want to create your tasks, you want to schedule your tasks and then monitor them as they are running, and you want to manage your pipelines. Um, so for that, you would use Google Cloud, and it is built on top of Apache Airflow, and it operates on Python language. So what is Airflow? Airflow is an open source tool, and Airflow is mainly used by data engineers for orchestrating their workflows and pipelines. The benefit of Airflow is that you can visualize the dependencies of your workflows, like this task needs to run before another tasks, and you can order your tasks with an ease. Let's say you want to first extract some data from a database, then you want to do some transformations in that database. You want to change the data type of it, or maybe you want to combine data from two particular columns, and then you want to make that data into a one single column for your another database, your target database. And then the load part of the ETL, you would want to load that into the target database. uh, so for that, you need to run all of these tasks one after another, and for that you could use Airflow. Coming back to Cloud Composer, why should we use Cloud Composer over a self-managed Apache workflow, right? So you might think that if I can do all of this in Airflow, what is the need of Google Cloud Composer? So basically, Cloud Composer has a lot of benefits. I'll talk about them. So first of all, and the most important one is that it will eliminate your infrastructure overhead. So as I said, Cloud Composer is a fully managed service. You don't have to set up your own infrastructure. You don't have to maintain your infrastructure. You don't have to think or worry about scaling it up. And this allows your engineers, the people, your data engineers, to focus on building and optimizing workflows and not worry about managing the servers. The Cloud Composer, second point is that Cloud Composer has seamless scalability. Cloud Composer will scale the resources and match your workload demands. You just have to tell them that this is the maximum that I want to scale till, and this is the lowest that I want. And between that range, it will auto scale. Another benefit is that it has guaranteed reliability and uptime. So GCP has their own SLAs. SLAs are service level agreements that if I have an SLA that 99.9% of the time my system is going to stay up, I cannot, my services cannot have a downtime of more than 0.01%. So that's how robust the infrastructure would be. Moreover, it would be cost effective. So you can calculate your costs in GCP upfront and pay them, rather than think about that I need to add more servers, and have an unpredictable uh, uncertainty in the amount of cost that you would incur. Another thing is, yeah, as I said, that it focuses on your business value. GCP handles the operational aspects, and the team and you can dedicate your resources in building data pipelines and workflows that drive your business. So let's get started with Google Cloud Composer. The first step here would be that we want to enable an API for our Cloud Composer, and before that, and after that, we would need to create an environment. In Google Cloud, in Composer, an environment is something that your Apache Airflow is gonna run on. It will have its own Kubernetes engine. It will have its own cloud storage, and it will have its own logs, and it will have its own DAGs folder. So in the DAGs folder, you will have your Airflow script and all of your DAGs. Now, the first thing would be to enable this API. So I would share the link for documentation where you can find how to enable the APIs. So first of all, we would confirm our project. This is the project that we are working on. Go to next and enable the Cloud Composer API. After this is enabled, this will show a green symbol here. All right, let's close this. Going back to the environment, I have created one environment here, but when you're starting it for the first time, you would not have anything here. It will be just a pop-up, just a text that says create environment, and we're gonna do that. So there are two types of Composer 1 and 2, but we're gonna work with 2. Composer 1 supports Airflow 1 and Airflow 2, and Composer 2 has auto scaling feature as it's self-explanatory, but Composer 2 will have all the new security updates, all the latest updates, which Composer 1 will not have. So we should not be using the 1 as of now. So let's click on Composer 2. Name of our composer, we'll just say Composer uh, Demo Lab. These are the regions that your composer would be hosted on. We are in Boston right now, so we could choose US East, or you could say US Central. You would not have a lot of latency difference, but we can choose either one of them, right? Image version, we'll go with the latest image of Airflow. This is the image that we are going to deploy on our Kubernetes engine, and this is the service account that you would see by default. We'll talk a little bit about the service accounts and IAM, and about the identity and access management. So this is a default account. When you click that, you would have a pop-up here. It will say Composer does not have access to all the resources, something like that. So grant access to that. And we would choose small here in the environment resources, and we'll have the standard resilience. And you don't need to change anything here. You just need to click on create. But before we click on create, there are some important points that we must make sure that we do. Otherwise, the creation of environment is going to fail, and it's going to take a lot of time. It took a lot of time for me to figure this out. So it's a very it's a golden tip that I would say would save your time. We'll just duplicate this. We'll go to identity management, IAM, and admin. So let's talk a little bit about IAM. It stands for Identity and Access Management. So whenever you have a huge project, currently right now I am the administrator for this project. As an administrator, I can authorize who can take actions on what resources of my Google Cloud. I In an organization, you would have a lot of roles. You would have a software developer, you would have the QA team, you would have administrators who are going to run who are going to handle all the infrastructure. So for all of them, you need to create a different um, you need to create different roles. An example of that role is the current default compute engine role that we have. It has the Cloud Composer V2. extension. So you would not have this by default. Just you need to click on edit here, um, add another role, and then search this role. And click on it and then save. That's all. Save. So I have already added it. Okay. And another thing is that when I was creating the environment, I added this particular, what do you say, access, right? But it was still failing. It was saying that you do not have the V2 service agent extension error. So I thought I have given it, but why is it still failing? Tried to figure it out for 2 days, nothing happened. Then somebody on the forum told me that this is a misleading error. Basically, it's not related to this. We need to give, we need to go to quota and quota and system limits. Here, for all of your services, you would see what is the total available value here, total quota available for your compute engine and cloud DNS. It's this one is 1000 GB. It's 1 TB, right? By default, you'd only have 500 GB here, and that was the reason that my environment creation was failing again and again. So you just need to create a service request for this and just tell them that I need at least 1 TB. It's not difficult. It will get approved in 1 minute. You don't have to talk with anyone or call anybody. Just need to uh, click here, edit, and then just say that one, I want this much GB, and just say that I need in the request description. You just need to say that I need this for my Cloud Composer environment or something like that, and you need to select the region that we selected here. This is in US Central 1. So if I want to create it in US Central 1, then in the quota, I need to change it for US Central 1, not for this region. I would have a similar uh, I would have a similar quota for Central region as well. So I need to change that. But I have selected US East 1, and that's why I increased my quota for this to 1 TB here. And you can see that it used 850 GB already. So that 500 GB would never have worked. So since we have that done, I would go here. Everything here is all looks all good. So environment resources is the number of schedulers, triggerer, web server, workers, number of workers that you will have for your environment. It will be between 1 and 3 workers. So the thing is that when we create the environment, um, it will have at least 3 nodes. So for each node, we will have 1 worker. It will keep on scaling between the 1 and 3 range. This is our web server configuration. We have half vCPU, 2 GB memory, 1 GB storage. So we this much is enough for our demo purpose, but for our project or for our organizations, we have such configurations. You can also set a custom configuration, total number of schedulers, CPU, memory, everything. We'll not do the custom one, we'll just go for small, click on create. Basically, typically, this thing, creation of an environment takes about, I'll say 35 minutes. So that's the reason it's a little bit painful to debug why your composer environment failed. So make sure you follow all the steps and yeah, reach out to somebody. You can reach out to me if you face any issue here. And I have already created the environment, so we'll check that out. So you can see backend of the environment here, like whatever or things I have, database health is healthy, web server is healthy, heartbeat, and yeah. So whenever you're creating an environment, it's going to create a database for you. It's going to create a cloud storage for those who are coming from AWS or know a bit about it. Google Cloud Storage is same as S3. So you have your buckets and you have your paths on which you will store your DAGs. You will have your Kubernetes engine on which your Airflow is going to be running. And yeah, uh, that's about the environment. And you'll have your logs. So whenever we are creating this environment, it needs access to create logs. It needs access to create Kubernetes cluster. It needs access to create your cloud storage buckets. So that's why we had that's where the identity and access management comes into play. If the composer does not have the permissions to create these resources, it's going to fail. Okay, so let's go to the Airflow UI. This is our Airflow UI. So when you create it for the first time, you will have only one Airflow monitoring here. It's basically just for monitoring. It says that we can, oh, check it out. Let's see. It will just say that it's working fine. Just that's all. Echo. That's all. Now let's let's create our own. Let's see how we can create our own DAG. We'll These are my active DAGs here, recent task. If you want to trigger your DAG, just you can trigger it from here as well. Okay, now we'll go to the environment. We will go to the DAGs folder. This is your Google Cloud, this is your bucket, like cloud storage bucket. You would need to add um, one file here and see, upload files and flow, Cloud Composer tutorial. Since I have one file with the same name already, I would just overwrite that object. I'm going to overwrite this one. Okay. So you would see that it would be added here. You can see last modified. It's 20th May, so it's last modified right now. These are all of my buckets here. So we don't need to worry about that right now. Let's go to the DAGs list. So you can see both of these DAGs here. When you update that in the folder, and then let's see. When you see here, you'll have an option to trigger the DAG, pause DAG, refresh. You can trigger the DAG from here, or you could trigger it from the UI. Let's trigger it from the UI. Let's see, we can see this one is queued. First run start is 20. This is in UTC. Basically, air, in our DAG, we have two tasks here. One task is a Python operator, another task is a bash operator. That's why we can see that there are two tasks here, bash operator, Python operator. This is our DAG ID. We'll see the code in a bit. Let's see the graph. It has uh, two tasks, one after the other. This one is first, this one is second. You can also run it parallelly if you want, and this is the code for it. So we have all the imports. You need to import the DAG, import the Python operator, bash operator, time delta, everything. You have a lot of operators that you'll have some SQL operator, you would have some HTTP operator. Link that. I'll link the list of operators in our tutorial. Basically, these are the default arguments. You can say your name here. For example, my name is Adit. I can say Adit. This is my DAG. I'm creating my DAG. This is the Cloud Composer tutorial. We saw the DAG name before, right? In the details. That is the same. This is the same one. This is the description of my DAG. This is my first task. This is a hello world task. This is using bash operator. And the second one, this is uh, the another task. Say hello, that this is in using Python operator. And this is how you would make sure that this one runs first and then the task about say hello, right? And let's see the graph. Just go to so you can see that this is about run that happened at this particular time and this particular task, hello world. Go to logs. You can see the logs of the execution. Now, if you check the code for it, let's check the code. What does this do, right? It says hello Cloud Composer task hello world. Let's see logs. So see, it says hello Cloud Composer here, right? It's just a basic print kind of a task. And then we can see another task as well. Say this one. Go to logs. It's gonna say that this is a simple task in Python. This is a Python task in Airflow. Right. So yeah, that is all about your first introduction to Google's Cloud Composer. Do let me know if there are any doubts in this, and please feel free to reach out with any doubts or questions or any suggestions as well. Right. Thank you. Have a good day.